Okay, welcome back everybody. Of course, this is challenge number 17, and we're going to change our focus now to evaluating expressions. So there's a lot to cover, and I'm going to cover it rather slowly for the next few videos. So we're going to take a look at something new. It's called a Boolean expression, and a Boolean is a true or false expression. It's either one or the other. So this time we are not looking at doing any math operations. We're actually looking to evaluate if something is true or if something is false and how that gets expressed in code. And that may seem rather mundane or useless because, for example, if we say 7 is greater than 3, we know that 7 is greater than 3. In our number systems, 7, there's more of 7 than there is of 3, and we get that. However, computers make decisions based on whether or not something is true or false. And so we need to be able to uh, code that so that the computer will do something for us. So in order to get there, we need to practice using code to evaluate those expressions. And so we're going to start with some true statements, and then we're going to move to some false statements, and we're going to start really basic. So this time forward, we're going to start with evaluating if 10 is greater than 3, and if it is, have the computer print out true, okay? So let's take a look at this from the pseudocode and code perspective. And so from the pseudocode perspective, we have display evaluate greater than as true. And we could easily add evaluate if 10 is greater than 3 as true, and that will be also helpful because it's more important to say to the user what the program is trying to do. So we're going to evaluate 10 is greater than 3, and we're going to want to print that to the statement. So I'm going to add that to the code in our code structure when we get there. And then we, of course, we want to store them into variables, numbers 1 and 2, num1 and num2, and then evaluate if num1 is greater than 2. Now here, we're actually going to use the diamond shaped, and this is the specific flowchart icon for making a decision. Now, in this particular decision, we're only looking for one specific output. However, if I was trying to evaluate if it's true, do this, and if it's false, do something else. All I want to do at this point is to identify its Boolean value. Again, true or false. So if it's true, tell me if it's true. If it's false, tell me if it's false. So let's go ahead and take a look at the code and see what we have. So again, we have Boolean situations where X is true and Y is false. I'm just showing you that because these are fundamental elements in code, true and false. So let's go ahead and I have num1 and num2. So I want to change this down here to say num1 and num2, okay? So this is how it looks like in Python. And again, I'm going to move from Python to Scratch, and we're going to take a look at this in several different ways, but this helps us visualize what it is that we're trying to write in our code structure. So regardless of what programming language we're using, regardless of the syntax, you have to understand that we're trying to evaluate an expression. So if num1 is greater than num2, tell me so, okay? So we know that it is, so the computer should tell us true. So if we do this, we're going to see that it is true. So that's a good start. That's what it looks like in code. This is how you will prepare for it in the player sheet. Let's move on to challenge 18.